everybody. Welcome to Navel Gazing, the Valley Indy podcast. I'm Eugene Driscoll of valleyindy.org, here to annoy you again. It's a busy news week for you, me, them, everybody. Everybody. Wait, I'm trying to find something I posted earlier today. I went live earlier today thinking very important meeting coming up in Ansonia, and it had not. But now it has been. Board of Apportionment and Taxation, budget public hearing, Wednesday, May 3rd, Aldermanic Chamber, Ansonia City Hall, 6:30 p.m. What's the address of Ansonia City Hall? I used to be at 158 Main Street. I'm going to say 295? Not 100% sure. But that is your chance to weigh in on the Ansonia budget. Copies are available online on the cityofansonia.com. So I just wanted to reiterate that because I didn't get a chance to this morning. It was very embarrassing. If you scroll down on Valley Indy Facebook, you could find the agenda in multiple places. Again, it's the budget public hearing, Wednesday, May 3rd, day after tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. in Ansonia City Hall. That's Wednesday, right? I'm going to try to send Gene Falbo Sosnovich because here in my basement, which is the Valley Indy office, essentially, since right before COVID, I'm doing a great Give Valley Indy live stream. I'm going to go live at 8 a.m. Wednesday, and I'll be live in 6 4-hour chunks, totaling about 24 hours, because the Great Give goes from 8 a.m. Wednesday until 8 p.m. Thursday. And it is your chance, ladies and gentlemen, to support the nonprofit of your choosing in the Naugatuck Valley and beyond. This also involves New Haven, Bridgeport. If you go to valleyindy.org right now, if you're on like a desktop computer or what have you, a laptop, look under extra. I have provided donation links to every local participating nonprofit. By local, if you're new, I'm talking about Beacon Falls, talking about Ansonia, Derby, Oxford, Seymour, and Shelton. Those links are all up there. Then Thursday, by the way, in addition to the Great Give stuff, there's a budget vote in Seymour. I'm winded. I just mowed the lawn. I mowed the lawn, only the front, because I'm not going to be able to do this. My lawn was getting overgrown. I was worried about the blight officers in Derby come breaking down my door. Took out the garbage, fed the kids because my wife is working late. But anyway, then Seymour budget vote is Thursday, May 4th. There is a proposed $65.2 million budget. You want to read about it? Go to valleyindy.org. Referendum is Thursday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Seymour Community Center up there on Pine Street. Town and school budgets. You got to vote yes or no on the budgets separately. It does include a mill rate increase, 1.59 mill rate increase there. According to Gene Falbo Sosnovich, previous reporting, a homeowner with a single-family house assessed at $200,000 would pay $318 more in taxes if both budgets are approved. Again, we've done a couple of stories on that at valleyindy.org. We're also scheduled, Gene and I are doing some of the Great Give interviews in advance. I said I'm going to be live in 6-hour chunks or 4-hour chunks. This year I tried to do some in advance so I can still pick up my kids and feed my kids and do all that good stuff. This is a very busy time of year for my wife's job as well. So Great Give comes at a very challenging time for a news organization that has one full-time employee, which is why I am asking you, we are asking you, anyone viewing, go to donate.valleyindy.org, donate.valleyindy.org to support the Valley Independent Sentinel on the Great Give. You can actually do so today if you so wish. If I go in here and I type donate.valleyindy.org, let's see what's going on. Sharing that screen. Hopefully you can see that. So far, just today, the Valley Indy, thanks to you, has raised $985 from 10 donors. Again, it's donate.valleyindy.org. Recent donors include Ethan Fry, former Valley Indy reporter, anonymous donation, Lisa P., Matt DiRenzo, who was a newspaper editor here in Connecticut, Lynn DeLucia, another of, was at the Hartford Courant, and then CT Hit, respected editor here in Connecticut. We have an anonymous, Linda Todd, Richard Rowlandson, Julia Soda, and Hare Finn. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated so far. We're asking for $100 donations. We can get that. We can reach the goal of $10,000. Gonna stop sharing that. To go over the schedule again for the Great Give, which starts 8 a.m. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a series of live stream interviews with various nonprofit leaders and town officials. See if I can find it here. I have it up in front of me. 8 a.m. I'm going to go live, and then at 9 a.m., Tom Simonetti of the Valley Shakespeare Festival will be on at 9 a.m. Wednesday here on this page, or valleyindy.org, or Valley Indy Twitter, or Valley Indy YouTube. I don't know why I can't speak, but that's where this live stream will be seen and heard. At 10 a.m. Wednesday, this Wednesday, Adam's House is going to come on. At 11 a.m., Ansonia Nature Center. At 12 p.m., Seymour First Select Woman Anne Marie Dragonis. At 2 p.m., we're going to be talking about a upcoming softball game between Ansonia and Derby to raise money for the Breast Cancer Center here in Derby. At 3 p.m., Assumption School Principal Torin Burke. 4 p.m., Valley Arts Council. That's going to be Rich DiCarlo. Some of these are taped in advance. 5 p.m. Wednesday, Master's Table. 6 p.m. Wednesday, Ben Wheeler of the Housatonic Council Boy Scouts of America. 7 p.m., Jim Gilday. Then at 8:30 p.m., I got to nail him down on this, but I'm supposed to have Kurt Miller in here. This is actually going to be newsworthy because the goal of the Great Give, I'm trying to raise money for the Valley Indy so we can stick around. We get all our money from readers and foundations. 2023, not so much advertising. So I try to, in addition to supporting and highlighting nonprofits you can donate to during the Great Give, I try to do some news stories, live news stories. And that will be 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Kurt Miller, the CFO of Ansonia, will be taking your questions live about the Ansonia budget. That's also the same night as the public hearing. So the goal is to have Ansonia do their in-person meeting and then have Kurt Miller join us virtually at 8:30 to answer any additional questions and to answer some questions for me that you might have in the chat. So any comment you make pops up and I can display it on the screen for Mr. Miller Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. I want to have Dave Leonard on about 10 p.m. Wednesday to talk about The Mandalorian. He's a former Derby fire chief, and he is a Marvel Star Wars expert. There's also some other things up in the air. A couple of people reached out to me today. I'll try to fit those people in too, including Derby Pop Warner reached out to me. It all depends. I have a few more in pre-interviews to do, right? The taped interviews to do tomorrow. I have to get through 3 of them. Then at that point, I'll have the whole schedule, and we can see where maybe we can slip people in who aren't currently scheduled. Thursday, May 4th, I'm going to have the Reverend Patricia Paisley of Trinity Church. She's going to be talking about the Blessing Pantry. That's 9 a.m. Thursday. Then at 10 a.m. Thursday, Chrissy Warringer of the Derby Neck Library, which is right down the road from me on Hawthorne Avenue. 11 a.m. Thursday, Susan Agami at Spooner House. 1 p.m. I'm supposed to have Thursday Cassetti crew in. We'll see who shows up from there. 2 p.m. I taped an interview today, about a 17-minute interview with Mayor Zekin going over what's going on in Derby, also asking him what his plans for re-election are. Stay tuned. Thursday, might hear some news be broken. 3 p.m. Thursday. This is going to be a good one. You people are going to love this one. Bunlandia. Bunlandia is a nonprofit, relatively new, started during the pandemic up in Seymour. This woman, Sarah Piera, I don't have her name in front of me. That's from memory. I just met her for the first time today. Wonderful person. She takes in rabbits that have been abandoned or found by local animal control or found from nefarious breeders, and she rehabilitates them, gets them healthy, takes care of them temporarily, and gets them out to be adopted by families. Bunlandia. How awesome is that? At 4 p.m. Thursday, I'm going to have Anthony Mullen on and Chris, whose last name escapes me, from the Ansonia Opera House Committee in Ansonia. There is an effort underway to get the Ansonia Opera House restored. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some ghost hunting that happened in the Ansonia Opera House. I do not believe in ghosts. At 5 p.m., Thomas Leonard from the Derby Storms and Rescue is going to be on to talk about his organization, who got their request fully funded from the city of Derby. City of Derby is a small portion of their total budget. They are a nonprofit. And there is a fund over at the Valley Community Foundation you can donate to support Derby Storms forever. So then I don't have anything. I mean, the Great Give ends at 8 p.m. So I have 6, 7, and 8 p.m. open. Well, 6 and 7 p.m. So I'm going to play that by ear. Maybe part of one of our traditions at the Great Give that we've done over the years is we always had Chris Bowen in. Chris Bowen, former member of the Seymour Board of Selectmen, who just moved out of state, actually. He's gone. He's down south. We would have him on because we met him through Twitter. He was one of the first people to like or follow the Valley Indy. This is before he was involved in politics, before he became dirty and corrupt local official who no longer our friend. But he would come on once a year during the Great Give. We would just bring Chris Bowen on because he used to be such a frequent contributor there in the comments section back before Facebook started hiding and becoming sort of a hellscape for free speech. Bowen would be in here regularly. So going to try to have him on at some point. I'm not, maybe have him on at the very end, right? But donate.valleyindy.org. So I just wanted to pop in real quickly. And also my internet just went down, right? But I meant to go on a little earlier at about 7:15, but internet was totally shot. So that's really it. So if we review, we've got Ansonia public hearing Wednesday night on their budget in front of the boat. Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. in City Hall. Go say your piece about the Ansonia budget. You can look it up online before you go. Earlier in the day, the Great Give starts at 8 a.m. Wednesday. You can stay on this Facebook page all day. Yes, I'm boring. Yes, I'm not charismatic. But damn it, we're going to raise money for local news, right? Local news is definitely a dying thing. When I think about it, this publication, and then Thursday's the Seymour budget vote. The Great Give continues over into Thursday, and then make sure you go out and vote Thursday, okay, Seymour? Derby, don't go up to Seymour and try to vote on their budget. No, your budget was decided last week. No tax increase. Valley Indy, only publication on planet Earth to cover the Derby budget. Only publication on planet Earth to stream the Derby boat meetings, the budget deliberations in the city of Derby. Huh? So donate.valleyindy.org. If you can donate $100, that's 25 cents a day. Cheaper than a copy of a newspaper. So we got all that going on. If anybody doesn't know, Valley Indy launched in 2009. It was a grant, right? I was like the last part of all this. At some point, and this is before my time, so this could be just urban myth for all I know. But the Valley Community Foundation, under Jamie Cohen's leadership and a bunch of people, I guess in like 2007, 2008 or so, teamed up with Paul Bass of the Online Journalism Project. He's like a Yoda of independent local news over there in New Haven, runs the New Haven Independent. Launched that thing. That was an alternative newspaper for years and years and years, and then went online. Back when online was still like, what? What is this? A newspaper online? What? So those two organizations teamed up. Online Journalism Project, Valley Community Foundation, submitted a grant to the Knight Foundation. If anybody remembers the Knight Ridder newspaper chain, they're gone, but they left a legacy in terms of a foundation. So the first grant was for, I think, was it $250,000 or $500,000? I don't exactly remember at this point. How sad is that? But they got this grant. You know, the Valley made this case in their grant application that the Naugatuck Valley lost its media long before it became fashionable to lose your media. They lost a radio station, right? Anybody remember this?
This is WADS, Ansonia, Stratford, Trumbull.
Transmitter still here, radio station long gone. They lost the newspaper, the Evening Sentinel. A few years later, Telemedia, which was sort of a local, really advanced local access news, right? You don't even have that where I grew up in New York. So all these things happened. And so the OJP, Online Journalism Project, and the VCF got together, filled out this grant application, made the argument that the Valley is its own unique place that needs its own news service. And the grant was supposed to be 2 years. I got hired. I was working at the News Times of Danbury. I think I was an online reporter. I worked there for a while. I was like their cop reporter. Well, not our cop reporter, but their web reporter, which basically meant cop reporter because he would cover any kind of fires or anything bad happening during the day. But I lived in Derby, and I heard that Paul Bass was starting this thing up from a colleague who I'd worked with at the Hartford Courant. And so I jumped at the chance to start an online newspaper basically where I lived. It was myself and Jody, now Jody Gill, then Jody Mosier, now Jody Mosier Gill. We launched the Valley Indy in 2009, and we're still around. You know, I told Paul Bass at the very beginning, I was like, I thought newspapers are going to be dead in like 6 months. I said, the only thing I don't want to do is sell ads. I don't want to have anything to do with grant applications. I never want to go live for 36 hours and tell people to go to donate.valleyindy.org to raise money for this thing. That's not what I do. I'm a behind the scenes guy. Never want to do any of that. But, you know, you do what you got to do. If you love what you do, and here I am, what is it? 12 years later? I don't know how to add. Can anybody? 2009 until now. I think at that time I've had 2 children. The whole thing is, I don't know. It's crazy. But anyway, donate.valleyindy.org during the Great Give. Donate.valleyindy.org during the Great Give Wednesday and Thursday. I think we're going to have more nonprofit interviews than we've ever had. The night's a little open, but instead of doing it all live, having this mix of some taped in advance, I think is going to make it smoother, easier, and has allowed me to plan a little better. Because if I'm playing an interview on tape, and I'll stream it, I mean, they're going to be on YouTube, and then I'll be able to stream it through StreamYard live to you. And we can even make fun of me for the right price if you want. We can make this a roast. I don't care. On the weekends, I've been doing like a comedy type podcast I've somehow fell into. So I'm used to people making fun of me in vicious, vicious ways. And I might have a surprise or two planned for you, because naturally, after being a local Valley reporter now since 2009, I really want to troll some of these public officials who come online. I really like to make them uncomfortable. Of course, I'm talking about Kurt Miller. Have you heard us get into a heated argument? Because Kurt just constantly, he doesn't know the FOI Act from, I don't know, from what kind of an ABC? That doesn't make sense. But anyway, Kurt will be on 8:30 Wednesday, I hope, to go over the Ansonia budget. You know, we'll try to make it, because the Great Give is kind of light, so I feel like we can have a little more fun, right? And what, I mean, come on, what's more fun than a budget? People will be in the chat asking questions. Maybe I'll have some people drop in, some surprises. It'll be good. My interview with Bunlandia was great today. I interviewed Mayor Zekin. That was good. So I don't know. And there's nobody has any questions. I don't know if these comments work. Nobody leaves anything. Wait, let me thank the people that have donated so far. I think we're, what did I say? $985. If anybody wants to put us over the top, $1,000 on the first day I started talking about this would be nice. But anyway, if you go to donate.valleyindy.org, you know, you can see, you can go, if you hit the Great Give up in the left-hand corner there, you can search any nonprofit. You can search by location. There's all types of prizes. You see on the right-hand side here, the prizes are like, there's a whole bunch of them. Like there's extra incentives for like the Valley Arts Council. There's another organization that matches any donations to nonprofits that deal with the arts. Up to a certain point, they match. So same thing with Bunlandia. I believe there was one that's specifically kicking in matching donations up to a certain point, certain percentage. I don't hold me to any of this for animal rescue type groups or any organization that benefits animals. So that's really cool. But, we have the different amounts here. That's that. I kind of wrote this last year, tweaked it a little bit. This gives you a little bit about our background. Okay, there we are. We're 14 years old. We're trying to raise $10,000. Then we brag about ourselves. I think we're more in the 40s now. I think this part about we've earned 34 awards. I don't think I counted the ones we won in 2022. We won a couple of first place awards from the Society of Connecticut Journalists for breaking news. And it was unfortunately a shooting on Ansonia's North End. Some other stuff in 2016, it was competitive. We got chosen to participate in this thing called the Nonprofit News Exchange at the Poynter Institute down in Tampa. They paid for it, so it didn't cost the organization anything. And it was really great. It was this conference about, it was all these different sort of emerging news organizations from all over the country and internationally. I think there was about 30 people there. And the idea was, well, what are some other ways we can come up with funding the news? From that, actually, at one point, the Valley Indy had a grant from, I believe, the Valley Community Foundation, where we worked with a nonprofit fundraiser guy, an expert in how nonprofits can raise money. And one of the things he said is that because of the economy and the demographics in Derby and Ansonia, and I live in Derby, we're always going to have to rely to some extent on foundations and readers. And so that's when the Great Give became more formalized, and we set specific fundraising goals every year for the Great Give. And then in terms of the ask, right, we kept, they told me to, identify people who gave $100, and, we need about 60 $100 donors to get us halfway to the goal, a little more than halfway to the goal. So I sent out an email to our core donors. Very much appreciate the people who then went and stepped up and donated today, even though we don't actually begin until Wednesday. So that's very nice. Just some other stuff. We got a silver medal award from the Greater Valley Chamber of Commerce in 2017. That was a huge honor. And then in 2020, this was totally random, we actually got a Facebook grant for $5,000. That paid for the equipment that I've been using, a Rodecaster, which is a great device for podcasting. It's really, if anybody uses a Rodecaster out there, it's so simple. It's like podcasting for idiots, but it's great for a reporter. You can tape phone calls. You can hook your cell phone up to it, Bluetooth, tape your calls, and then you could also use it as a soundboard. You can record podcasts right down. It's just awesome. Right? That's my Facebook grant. But what's funny about Facebook, the mega corporation, that was our smallest grant ever, was from them. So is there anything else I wanted to show there? But if you want to go to thegreatgive.org, you can look up and vet. You can find out the tax information of any organization you want to donate to. So I'm nervous. I mean, it's great that we raised almost $1,000 so far today, which is wonderful, even though technically the Great Give isn't underway. But when I look at the numbers, like right now, it says only 4 people watching. One thing that's become really tricky with Facebook is that they just don't show videos. They don't put videos in people's feeds like they used to. Like when we first launched, you could do one of these and get 1,000 people in a moment. And it's not like that anymore. So that makes Facebook's very challenging. It's the best free marketing in the history of the world for newspapers, but you live and die by the changes that Facebook makes. So again, here are people who have donated so far today. Ethan Fry, I worked with Ethan at the News Times, and then we were brothers in arms at the Valley Indy until we couldn't afford to keep him anymore. And now our loss is the Connecticut Post / New Haven Register. Gain, he covers courts for them. Great court reporter, good guy. Thank you, Ethan Fry. Also not afraid to put out there publicly, he donates to another publication other than the one he works for. How great is that? Tough guy. You think I was hard on Ansonia the other day? Ethan Fry, oof, he was hated. As he should have been by public officials. So we got Ethan Fry, Anonymous, Lisa P., thank you so much. Matt DiRenzo, another newspaper person. Lynn DeLucia, another newspaper person. Anonymous, Linda Todd, Richard Rollison, Julian Soda, and Hare Finn. Oh yeah, I did go through all these, but thank you. Going to be doing a lot there in the Great Give. A lot of the Great Give is going to be just this. me saying nothing, vamping, and begging, praying, hoping that someone will post a comment or ask a question, at least acknowledge my existence as another human being. I'm in my basement, but I got one of those things like I see in my kids' YouTube videos. You get these foam little sound deafening things that it doesn't soundproof anything, but it just prevents echo. But this is a pretty disgusting, unfinished basement, and this makes it look like it's something. That's an old hutch from IKEA. This was supposed to be my man cave bar, but somehow having kids changed all that. I think that's it. Let's see. What do we have? Any comments? Anything here? We got St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Shop tagged me in a photo. Oh, no, it was the Valley Community Foundation. If you go to the Valley Community Foundation on Facebook, let's check it out together, shall we? Hi, Amy. Thank you for saying something. I appreciate it. It's nice to see a smiling face. But VCF posted something. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That's gross. I just coughed I was mowing the lawn and now I'm going to have an asthma attack. And I'm out of water. But they put everybody who's participating, they tagged them all on Facebook. And so you see the list there. And I'll also tell you that if you go to valleyindy.org, so that was the Valley Community Foundation on Facebook. But if you're on a desktop or a laptop, and I guess you can get it on mobile too, you just might have to scroll down to 4 spots. But extra, here's every local nonprofit participating in the Great Give. And if you click any of those links, it'll take you right to the donation site for all these wonderful organizations. And we're having as many as I can. I wish I could have everybody on, but it's just too hard to do as one person. So that's it. Thank you, Amy, for saying hi. Unless anybody has any questions about anything, and I guess that's the other thing, like when I'm live during the Great Give, people are welcome to post whatever questions or comments they want. It helps if this kind of gets interactive. Anything you want to know or observe or suggestions, I am more than open to, because that's really what the magic of social media is, that it's supposed to be two-way communication. But I really feel like Facebook kind of, unless you go to this page on Facebook, this isn't showing up on your feed, it kind of feels like. That's why YouTube is kind of the way to go. YouTube, if you reach 1,000 subscribers, and I think we have 700, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, you're monetized. You can apply for monetization. And then when you go live on YouTube, you can get these super chats where people, if you wanted to donate any amount, you could just do so right from there. YouTube gets 30%, but that would be a great new revenue stream for the Valley Indy. However, we're a Facebook community. The Valley has been, since 2009, very much inclined to use Facebook as opposed to YouTube, as opposed to Twitter. Even when I'm on YouTube and I'm searching for like local videos, there's really not a lot from the Valley. It's all kind of realtors and then like WTNH news stories. But I don't know if that's just because people don't tag. Maybe it's because people don't tag where they're from when they post a YouTube video. But that's the great untapped world out there is YouTube. My plan at the beginning of the year was to concentrate on YouTube more and try to get monetized, because I've seen it work with how it works with podcasts that have gone on to YouTube. But at the same time, this channel got monetized on Facebook. There's those thing called stars, and we have the ability to do subscriptions on Facebook, though it doesn't work well. So even though we're monetized on Facebook, the system literally doesn't work, and you can't reach out to any customer service to get any help. So it's, hey, it's tough. It's tough 2023 being an independent online newspaper. So, and this is all outside of just like, say, getting a budget to look at, arranging interviews. There's so much involved when it's just one person, whereas in traditional news organizations, you'd have different departments to do this stuff. So in the Valley Indy is myself, and then Gene Falbo is freelance and writes 4 stories a week. So that's our entire staff. And there was a while there where it was just me, and that was sort of hellish. Having Gene is great. Although I'm trying to get her to be a little more aggressive with some of these town officials, to kind of ask these follow-ups, right? Like they always say, oh yeah, the budget's going up because of contractual obligations, as if they didn't have any say over the contracts. Like it just appeared and there was nothing we could do. There's certain buzzwords that even our local officials use that it's good to ask follow-ups, or certain terminology like non-life-threatening injuries. That's kind of one that came out of nowhere. Non-life-threatening injuries, sort of a jargon, but I mean, 2 broken legs could be a non-life-threatening injury, right? It's a vague term. But HIPAA, that Protection Act meant to prevent hospitals from selling your data, it's had like a chilling effect on the First Amendment, because you don't get any information on accidents, on the severity of people's injuries a lot, even in crimes sometimes, because people are very aware of HIPAA. It was also a big wall used to hide information at the beginning of the pandemic. You just couldn't get anything because everything gets couched in privacy. And it wasn't like that when I first started working in newspapers in 1998. So I support HIPAA and what it was intended to do, but I'm just telling you, that's why, it has ripple effects. It used to be, you'd read about EMS workers more who are woefully underpaid, right? You can support a bunch of EMS agencies during the Great Give. Derby Storms, Seymour Ambulance, and I believe VEMS, the paramedic service, our Valley Paramedic Service, and I think Echo Hose. You can contribute to them all. But I make the argument, the public, it's hard for the public to know what they're up to because they're like bound by law to be quiet. So it's just gotten more and more difficult to do that type of stuff, to kind of tell their story. And like I was talking to Tom Leonard from Derby Storm Ambulance, we pre-taped our interview. And at the end of it, he was kind of saying, his father-in-law was Ed Cotter, who was a photographer for the New Haven Register and the Evening Sentinel, and is in the Society of Professional Journalists Hall of Fame. And Ed Cotter used to tell Thomas Leonard that, well, it's important to talk to the press only because it tells the public what you're up to. And it helps at like budget time where everyone knows what like a volunteer fire department or your police department, what they're up to, because the story's being told. It doesn't have to be adversarial, or it doesn't have to be, not everything has to be a secret. So, and I think that's one of the things that's awesome about the Valley and the Valley Indy is that you may hate me, but I've been here for a long time, right? At this point. So hopefully I get some information. Not as much as I'd like to. A lot of stuff going on in courts, criminal cases that didn't get press released, kind of just goes right into court. And that can be scary if you live in the neighborhood, right? So I'm totally rambling. Donate.valleyindy.org. Let's see if we raise that last $15. I got a little, not OCD. We did. Hey, thank you so much. All right, this is a little secret. My mother-in-law gave $25. You didn't have to do that, Ma. Now I feel bad. But thank you very much. And Sue May, thank you very much for your $100 donation. My mother-in-law gave $25. Come on, I can't be that bad, people. My mother-in-law donated. So, she probably likes me more than my wife at this point, to be perfectly honest with you. I've been doing too many weekend comedy podcasts with Ray DeVito. So wait, where did that go? Let me bring that up real quick, and then I'll sign off. Share screen. This is donate.valleyindy.org. There's Jackie Cockerman. My mother-in-law says I'm a great reporter. Happy to give to the Valley Indy. Then Sue May, $100. So that means today people gave $1,110. We had 12 donations today. And again, that's great because the Great Give actually doesn't start until Wednesday officially, but you can donate now. So if you want to give to another organization, you can do it right now. This is just a little preview. I'm just testing out, making sure everything works. Speaking of making sure everything works.
Derby, Connecticut. What a nice small Connecticut town.
Good evening, residents of the great city of Ansonia. This is
miles, that's all they got there.
Yeah, so I got to get some new sound drops to play. I also need to get some type of video you can upload. I'm using StreamYard. I need like a Be Right Back, like a technical difficulties one. I'm looking at the chat over here. All right, that's it. Unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to sign off. And I got an email from Jean. She wants to know, should she call my cell around noon Wednesday to join the interview with me and Anne Marie? Yeah, Jean. I'm going to answer Jean. So yeah, I'm going to have, Jean doesn't have a camera or a microphone. Although if we really wanted to get involved, I could provide Jean with a computer, Rodecaster, XLR mic, but that's too much. I think that's illegal. And have her work out of the Seymour office, which I'm paying for and I don't use. But we could actually do that, Gene Sosnovich. We could do this together because it's not. Let me tell you something. It's not comfortable nor easy to sit here in my basement alone for 36 hours once this thing starts. But we're gonna have Gene call in because the Seymour budget one tomorrow is the Board of Education, Chris Champagne. I don't know anything about the Seymour school budget, so I asked Gene if she could call in because we do have the technology with this awesome Rodecaster thing. She can call in on the cell phone, and Chris and I can be talking in StreamYard, and we can pipe her in, and it sounds clear as day. It's really a cool little service. The technology, it's changed just since 2009 in terms of video, and that we can, I'd realize this is ultra low budget, but the fact that I can stream to you with decent sound and have somebody call in. At one point, I think we can even do a call-in show during the Great Give. Ethan Fry and I had tried that previously, and it was so much fun. We had just random people call in to sort of yell about whatever they wanted to in the Valley. Now, of course, it's the internet. You have to be very careful because people will call in and just say horrible things. And that's going to happen. That happens. But what makes it even scarier is that can get like your Facebook page pulled or your YouTube page pulled because of somebody who calls in and says something inappropriate. It might not offend you, or you might be able to move on 20 seconds after hearing it, but the social media companies will kill your page. So Jean's not going to do that. She has promised me she's not going to call up and yell anything inappropriate when she helps me in the interview with the Seymour Board of Education Chairman and Seymour First Select Woman, Anne Marie Dragonis. And now it's late, right? Kurt Miller's probably not watching this, but I have like a couple of acquaintances in the online comedy world. Like I'm friends with the Potato. He's a floating potato. And I might give him some very pointed Ansonia budget questions and have him ask Kurt Miller. I think that might be really funny. Or it might get us put out of business. That's my plan. I have another acquaintance. He wears a wrestling mask. His name is El Horrible. Maybe if he called in, right? Cleveland comic Ray DeVito is in New York this week. I don't know. Might be something to do. All right, donate.valleyindy.org, and please support all these nonprofits during the Great Give. If you're new to the Great Give or you're new to this publication, I really think at this point we just have diehards. You're the dead enders if you're watching right now, or if you're still a fan of the Valley Indie Facebook page at this point. We've been through it all together. But the Great Give, it's really it's just a wonderful event because you're talking about the The food pantries benefit from this. You know, our shelter, our emergency shelter, Spooner House for families, they benefit from this. All types of social service agencies, but and then the arts, you know, any nonprofit you can think of benefits during this. And the number has grown. There's more than ever before participating this year. Each year, the Great Give breaks its previous years breaks its record in terms of total donations. And I don't know if you heard that. Somebody just fell upstairs and screamed. I think that was my daughter. But I always get, I mean, it's a lot of work to set all this up, you know, because I have to send out individual emails to every person and try to coordinate 20 or so interviews and then make all these live streams in advance and then come on here and make an idiot of myself while trying to also work with Gene to get regular stories covered. You know, last week was hellish because I had the Derby boat every single night live streaming and trying to write stories after the live stream, right? Because, you know, you attend one of those meetings and it's not over because then I'm trying to make sense of it and write something up on it. And it cut into my planning for the Great Give. So I didn't even know if I'd be able to do it this year. I also had, you know, some personal stuff going on with family members, extended family, hospitalizations. And it was just, I was not thinking of the Great Give at all. So it's a lot of work. And I didn't think I would do it this year. But once the Great Give begins and you start to hear, or I start to hear, and hopefully you have the same feeling, you start to talk to people from like a Susan Agami from Spooner House or Sarah from Bunlandia, and you just hear them talk about what they're passionate about and what they do. And it's all unsung heroes. It's all stuff that happens under the radar that of course doesn't make the headlines, but it's just people taking care of each other in the Valley. And I've heard that's really what the Valley is all about. And you can support them directly, very easily too, by going to thegreatgive.org. So I really encourage people to do that. It's super simple. You can, and it's that thing. It's not like the company or takes a massive cut of your donation. It's very transparent. Obviously, there's fees to do this, to do credit card stuff. I know in years past, we always have somebody who wants to send me a check. Don't send me a check. I will never cash it. I don't have time. Sometimes people want to go out for coffee. I don't have time. I'm always in this basement. I'm a one-person newsroom. So what's great about the Great Give is that if you're a nonprofit that's tiny, that has no development office, that doesn't go to the bank, you have no ability to really process funds yourself, donations, this does it for you. So yes, it asks for your credit card, that buzzword will probably now get this video taken down as Facebook overlords hear it, but it really makes it so much easier. So to do. And again, like the passion these people have for the various nonprofits is inspiring. Even a cynical SOB like myself ends up getting inspiration during the Great Give. Donate.valleyindy.org. To recap, if you're just joining me, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., Ansonia City Hall public hearing on the proposed budget by the Cassetti administration. First public hearing on that, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Then Thursday, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., vote on your Seymour town budget and your Seymour school budget at the Seymour Community Center, 20 Pine Street. And of course, also Wednesday, 8 a.m., Great Give begins, continues 36 hours straight through the night, ends 8 p.m. Thursday. That's all I got.